Good morning. Welcome to The Usual Suspects. Great to have you with us on this Sunday morning from the state capitol. I'm Gary Yordon. So one of the things I told you guys a couple weeks ago is we're going to try and bring you some of the people who are thinking about diving into public office and those who have already taken that step that are now for the first time leaping into that interestingly manicured pool. So friends of mine and people who I actually don't talk to a lot started dinging me about this guy. You need to talk to him, you need to have him on the show because he's a pretty interesting guy and he's got an interesting message. And so I checked and they're right. This is a serious candidate for Congress in District 2, Neil Dunn's seat. Well, actually, it's your seat that Neil Dunn's sitting in. I mean, we'll talk about that a little bit. But meet Nic Zateslo. Nice to have you here, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I did not know you existed on the planet until I heard from really a number of people who I have a lot of respect for, who said, take some time, learn a little about this guy. When I did, he had a couple interesting points of view, and we'll get into them on the show, but congratulations, because I think anybody who takes this step, in about a minute, what was it that made you say, all right, I'm in?
Yeah, so I never intended to run for Congress. This wasn't a dream of mine. It's not something that I've been looking forward to and pursuing for a long time. I am a first-time candidate, but I'm not a normal first-time candidate, and that's because I've been involved in the political scene. I've been involved in technology for a long time, and really the reason I jumped in was I saw what was going on from the Trump administration and the Republicans in Congress, and we'll probably get into some of those issues and what's going on. But the other side is AI and what's happening with technology and the cybersecurity and economic implications of that. And so together, I thought maybe I can bring something to the table here to help solve the problems and help bring us together and get rid of some of this extremism on both sides and focus on the things that actually improve people's lives and do something to help.
Yeah, actually, when I was going through a lot of your material, I mean, technology was certainly a part of it. And you mentioned some of the hearings that were taking place, like the Secretary of Education saying A1, the steak sauce. But beyond that, what I was really compelled to move in this direction was sort of your grasp of the larger issues happening to families today. And I kind of want to start there when we get back. We'll start with your family and how this sort of circle happened.
Sounds good.
We will do all that with Nic right after this. Stay with us.
Closed captioning is a public service of WCTV and Mays Monroe.
Lobster delish, lobster feast delish. We're back with lobster bites and rolls in this creamy biscuit bowl.
Feast from $5.99, you'll have a lobster loving time.
Captain D's lobster feast delish.
Why would you buy life insurance from anyone else when Senior Life gives you all your money back? It's simple. When other companies say they save you a percentage of your money, Senior Life says we give it all back. That's right. With return of premium life insurance from Senior Life, we don't save you a percentage of your money, we give it all back, 100%. It works like this. If you pass away while you're insured, your loved ones get a check for the coverage amount you chose. But if you're still living at the end of the term, you get back all the money you paid, guaranteed. Spend it any way you wish. While others may talk about saving you money, Senior Life is the only one giving it all back. Return of premium term life insurance gives you protection if you need it and 100% cash back if you don't. Get all your money back with return of premium life insurance from Senior Life. Call the number on your screen now for free information. You have no obligation. Call now.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
We're back with Nic Zateslo. It's people will get it. Yeah. I'll get it. You were a president of the Democrats, Young Democrats at USF.
Yep.
But you really grew up, I mean, you went to Rickards.
Yep.
You know, this was home.
Yep.
You went to USF, then you went out to California, met your wife. I hate asking questions like I don't know the answer. So you went out to California, met your wife, got into tech there. That's kind of where that base came from. But the tech you were involved in, this is actually pretty cool, was really kind of political hardware.
Yeah.
Is that a fair?
Yeah. So I worked basically in the software and data space. Then the company I worked for sold those products to political nonprofits, to campaigns, and we worked across the spectrum. In California, it was a bipartisan company, and so we worked with everybody on all sides of every issue. And then after that, I jumped into after I came back to Tallahassee here, I was with a company that was basically trying to build just better technology for organizers and people trying to get things done in their communities, right? Not huge profit, not trying to come in and sell to big, digital vendors and things like that, but the people that are saying, hey, I want to run for school board, right? I want to run for city council. I want to do that, and trying to support those people with fair, products that they can use to help get their jobs done.
And you worked with, I don't want to go down this road, but I mean, you worked with some campaigns, congressional campaigns, local office on the West Coast, near Tampa. And so this was always a bit of a bug, and I guess that's where I wanted to go. So why Congress?
Yeah. So I think that I looked at this and went, where can I make the most difference? Where's the place right now in this moment in time of what's happening in our society and our politics and our country, where we could use the most help? And I think that right now the federal power is the place where it's being most corrupted, where there's the most abnormalities going on. I don't look at this as a normal policy fight of just, Democrats think this and Republicans think that. This is more fundamental. This is about the difference between the checks and balances system of a unitary executive, of an executive that thinks they can do whatever they want. And really the moment was when I saw that not only was Trump going to do what Trump does, which he can do whatever he does, right? I can't control that. But that Congress, right? The Republicans in Congress decided they just weren't going to have any checks, right? No hearings, no accountability for anything going on. And that's new. We've always had parties from both sides. The Democrats got with, they hassled Obama and investigated things. The Republicans did that to George Bush sometimes, right? Like they never were just unitary. The Speaker of the House cared about the House, right? And there was some power there, and there should be power there. And what I saw was that they were just saying, yes, sir, right? What's next? And that really irked me. It was just, this is not acceptable, not from a politics point of view, but from just how do you run a good government? And you can't run a good government if you just tell a president that they can do whatever they want and no one's ever going to care and no one's ever going to check, because that's how the corruption starts, that's how it escalates, and who knows where that goes. And so that was really the moment when I said, I need to get in this to give voters a chance to have a winning campaign where we can actually send someone to Congress and actually change that power, because it's fundamental. And a lot of people look at politics as just a popularity contest. And I look at it as more of this is the government we elect to do things for us. And you need to have good people in there doing that. And if you have people that are just loyal to one man or one party, it won't function the way you need it to in a complicated society like we have, especially in a place like North Florida where we have hurricanes coming and we have major research facilities and universities and military bases and agriculture and fishing, and just there's so much here that is involved with the federal system, and we need to have somebody who's competently able to deal with that and to bring the money back home, but also build policy that actually helps people and not just political trickery.
There is, the fact that, town halls are being avoided. Town halls, which used to be this great place of expression, are not even happening in fact, Republicans are being told at their own peril, do them, because there is clearly a mood that exists. I think the question politically for you is there enough of that recognition on behalf of voters to understand the significance of why everything you just talked about has to happen?
Yeah. So I absolutely think that it's happening. Different people kind of tune in at different levels. They jump in at their, the place where they're hearing what's going on, the place where it affects them. So, families who their SNAP benefits or their Medicaid benefits might be cut soon, they're going to think about things differently than an executive who's looking at tax rates and trade law and international logistics, right? But they both matter, right? And they're both part of our economy, and they're both part of our system. And so I'm really passionate about having integrity and getting things done, not worrying so much about the process of it, but what's the outcome. And right now I see a lot of legislation and a lot of policies that have just really bad outcomes for people, for real lives. And that is something that I just can't stand by and watch happen. Yeah.
There's I think it pivots back to mood. Mm-hmm. And when I use the term trickle down on purpose, mm-hmm. because I kind of feel like what's happening with voters is this, it didn't bother me that much. Right. Now it's bothering me a little more, like, yeah. Oh hell, now it's really bothering me. And if that converts, then what you're saying might be right. When we come back, I want to pivot back to technology and why that really does matter. I mean, it's here, it's coming, it scares the bejesus out of me, and because I don't understand it the way, and I think there's a lot of people who are going, wait a minute,
100%.
This is blue collar jobs, this is white collar jobs, this is government needs to have a handle on this. And one of the things I saw you talk about was you watch a hearing and you see the people who are elected who they're not even asking the right questions. Yeah. And that's scary because they're going to be deciding what happens. So I do want to spend a little bit of time on that, and like whatever else we can get to. So, but well, it's good getting to know them. We'll be back after this.
At Florida Blue, we're constantly solving to make healthcare better for the people of Florida. And we want you to know how we're solving with health solutions that make healthcare more affordable and easier to access. Offering plans that fit your needs and budget, making mental health appointments more available, personalizing care to manage chronic conditions, and working with hospitals and doctors to lower costs on your behalf. See health solutions that are making healthcare more affordable. Florida Blue, your health solutions partner.
Is it time for a change in career? Join the WCTV sales team. At WCTV, our sales team doesn't just sell, we help local businesses grow. As a full-service digital agency, we give you the tools to sell not only broadcast television, but all things digital to get the best results for our clients. With a starting pay at $50,000 a year and unlimited earning potential, you're not just starting a job, you're launching a career. Join the WCTV sales team today.
My name is Roosevelt. I always thought that cigarette smoking just messed up your lungs. I never thought that at only 45 would give me a heart attack. I never thought that it would stop me from playing basketball with my kids. Never thought that it would give me a scar like this. And I never thought that it would change my life forever. My tip is, do your heart a favor and quit now.
Tobacco-Free Florida offers free nicotine replacement therapy to help start your quit journey. Call 1-877-YOU-CAN-NOW.
We're back with Nic Zateslo. I got it right.
Yep, you got it right. There it is.
It's not a great political name, man.
We're going with Team Z. Is the
Team Z?
Yeah, that's
Actually, in the political business, as you know, you want to do your best to try and get two-syllable names, not three-syllable names.
Right.
Team Z, I love
Team Z.
Yeah, I love Team Z. So let's go back where we were before the break. The real-life application, because, for a lot of people, AI is like, okay, it's there,
right.
But, I'm still going to the grocery store, I'm still doing what I'm doing. Help people understand, from your perspective, the real-life application of why that needs to be a real focus.
Yeah, so I think AI is one of those things that kind of snuck up on all of us. We weren't one of the 15 people in San Francisco that decided to build this technology, and have been working on it the last 5 or 6 years. But it's so quick. I mean, this has moved from a theoretical thing to now in our lives every day thing, and none of us, even the people building it, don't even understand exactly how it works to the degree they should. What this technology does is basically puts all of our human knowledge into a tiny little software in your computer so that you can ask it questions. And if you use ChatGPT or Gemini or any Anthropic, any of these other tools, basically you can say, what is this thing? And it's sort of like Google, where you can ask it questions and it can answer them. But it can also do analysis. It can also do videos. It can also do images. It can also do audio. So the fact is that anyone who has a job that involves a computer, right, their jobs are really in threat. And I don't think that that's hit yet on what people are understanding. And I don't mean that your job's just going to go away tomorrow, right? But I think a lot of people who are in business, who are in corporate America, are seeing this, right? They're seeing that the things that used to take them maybe 2 days to finish that report, now they can upload the data and build, ask the program a little thing. But instead of programming a computer, you just sort of talk to it, right? You say, hey, tell me this, do this. And it's not always right. And that's sort of the thing that I think is keeping it from people understanding the severity of what's going on, is because they're saying, well, it's wrong sometimes. Well, I don't know if you've worked with people, but people are wrong sometimes, and we all make things function, right? So I don't think that's going to be a huge limiting factor as we go and as these models improve. And just remember that this is the worst these will ever be. Right, is today, the worst. And OpenAI is about to release a new model out. And what's going to happen is basically intelligence is going to get cheaper, right? So the idea of what can you think about, what can you understand, you can now ask this thing. And now it's going to be in your phone, right? And the new Apple phones and Google phones have AI built in. And that's not just a theoretical kind of thing of it can connect to this service. They're baking them in on the chips, which is really good for privacy and things like that, so the phones can hold that information and not share it out. But people are sharing a lot of information with this stuff. And so there's a lot of fronts here on not just the economics of job loss and automation on that front.
Education.
My kid's starting kindergarten on Monday, and I can't understand the idea of what his education is going to look like, right, in that. But I'm actually excited by it, because AI can meet people where they are. So for the kids that are underperforming, you now have a tutor that is kind and patient and can work at midnight with the kid if that's when they want to sit up and start thinking about things. If some kids like to be talked to and want a more conversation, it can do that. Some kids want a PowerPoint presentation, and they can do that. And it can move up. So if you're good on math but you're lacking on language arts, it can help you there. So I think there's a lot of really interesting spaces here that we have to just think differently about how we interact with computers and how we interact with the world with this. And we need policymakers who understand that and can actually make, again, I'm not talking about outlawing AI. I love AI, I use it all the time. But we need to be honest about what's going to happen and the implications with national security and cybersecurity. And if we don't have people in Congress who understand those details, we're in big trouble, because they right now seem like they can't read their email and they don't know how the internet works at all. And I don't think everybody should have to understand how the internet works, but you need some people to understand how the internet works to regulate the internet and regulate what's going on. So I'm very hopeful that I can bring some of that knowledge and understanding, both from a policy side, but also from kind of a vision and understanding the technology side.
And how it relates. I've actually seen some projections that the work week in a decade, the white collar work week might be 15 hours.
Yeah. I mean, it's something I've been talking to people about when they say, what are the solutions to this? And I think there's a lot of really interesting solutions like that, right? Like, we've talked about a 4-day work week in general. I think that most people, if you ask them, could you fit your whole work week into one less day? If you really just work straight those days, most people could do that. And that's because productivity. We've gotten faster at things. And a lot of times people are sitting and puttering on their phone and doing other things. And so we can build in the policies here to let people have that free time and keep our economy strong.
I think that's called utopia. I want to talk about social media, because you talk a lot about it in your material, about people, obviously the dirge of information and how difficult it is to process all that. But what I found interesting was your take on overreaction. Talk about that.
Yeah, so the social media sites basically about 2 years ago decided, or 3 years ago, that they wanted to focus on engagement more than just sort of what your friend that you like and then they share something and you see it. Now you're being fed things, right? So they're not just a benign town square where anybody can come up and talk. They're actually picking who gets to be, whose voice is heard, right? And that's where they're pushing those out on your news feeds. And that's for engagement, which engagement is hate and fear and lies, and I mean, that's what engages people, either on both sides, people defending the thing or people, you know, attacking the lie, and both sides, because that's what they want you to share it and comment and do all that. What that means, though, is after years of that, right, where if that's your main news source, is that the place where you're going to get most of your information, your view starts to become more extreme, right? You start to think whichever one, if you're kind of on the left-leaning side or the right-leaning side or the non-political side, it's the thing people don't talk about. There's a whole group of people out there that just never hear about politics. They never hear about the news. They don't hear about anything because their algorithmic bubble is something else, right? And there's so many other things. And that's great. I'm glad people don't have to concentrate on the news and politics all the time. But what it does is it makes that you don't have any information about what's going on, like in our government and in our world. And then you have people that are hyper engaged, but they're engaged in polar opposite ways. So our realities are different. And not that our physical realities are different, but our understanding of those realities, of why something happened, of what was the forces that pushed something to occur or not to happen. And we just don't agree on that. And I'm doing town halls or meet and greets all over the place in people's living rooms and businesses all around the district. And we've probably done 15, 20 of these now. And what I'm hearing is that you always find these people where in the meeting someone will say something and ask a question, and somebody else says, "Oh, I know that. I know the answer." And then you hear them talk, and they don't share a reality of the fundamentals of what's happened. And so that's what I'm worried about with algorithmic AI or with social media.
So when you're having these conversations with a live audience, we got about a minute here, and when you have these conversations, are you getting glazed looks or engaged looks?
Oh, very engaged. People are showing up on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights at a friend's house, at a neighbor's house to talk with a congressional campaign candidate about what's happening because they're scared. It's not a happy energy. It's a scared energy, but it's engagement. I mean, people are worried about all these things from the federal policies down to technology and AI. So it's certainly not an audience that's whimpering along.
Well, it's a scary time.
It is. It is.
I mean, friends and neighbors are disappearing, and that is, besides tragically inappropriate, it is pretty scary.
Yeah, things are different, and we need to be honest about that.
Yeah. Okay. We'll final few minutes with Nic right after this.
It's my job as chief meteorologist to keep you dry with the most precise forecast. Now, I can't put an umbrella in your hand, but actually, I can do that.
The Great Umbrella Giveaway. Download the WCTV News app or visit WCTV.tv to enter. Sponsored by Tallahassee Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
We now offer K-Laser Therapy, a non-surgical pain-free treatment for chronic pain like carpal tunnel syndrome, plantar fasciitis, and tennis elbow. If you suffer from that type of pain, go to the experts page to see how we can help.
Choice Hotels gets you more for your money so you can maximize any vacation from the second you log off. Getting rooftop cocktails at the Cambria Hotel.
Yes.
Need anything, email Janet.
But there is no Janet.
Even better, check into more. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
When you wash with Snuggle, your loved ones will feel at home. On center stage, at the school dance, or away from home. Cuddly softness, long-lasting familiar freshness. That's the Snuggle promise. Snuggle, the comfort of home.
I feel really chained by my smoking, but I still can't seem to stop. My grandma used to always discourage me from smoking. She would always say, I don't want you to be addicted like I am. She was diagnosed with COPD. That's when she said, quit smoking. You have to quit smoking. Do it for me. But I'm addicted to cigarettes, and that's why I feel so guilty about smoking. I really need to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
Back with Nic Zateslo, Team Z. The truth is that this is going to be an uphill climb for you. I mean, the district was drawn for Neil Dunn, who, and by the way, who's been, you can come on the show anytime you want. Just letting you know, I've asked. Strategically, is it get the Blue Dogs back? Is it between Tallahassee, you got a strong base here, but Panama City's probably not going to be? I mean, what's the path?
I think it's a lot more fundamental this year than a sort of targeting approach like that, where we're going to scrape off 3% here and 2% here and do that. When I talk to people, I'm saying, listen, there's one fundamental thing about the campaign in this moment. Do you think that Donald Trump should have more unaccountable power or not? That's it. If you think that what's going on right now with the tariffs, with immigration, with pick your poison of DOGE cuts, of VA benefit cuts, of Medicaid, and the bills, and all the policies that are going on, and the unaccountability within that, if you think that's good, if you want more of that power to be given to Donald Trump, then don't vote for me. I am not your candidate. But if you believe that there needs to be some accountability, just some, on some issue, on one thing that's impacting your life, then I'm your candidate. Because even if we don't agree on all the issues, we agree that there's fundamentally a problem here, again, at the base level of checks and balances, of congressional oversight, of a unitary executive that's way out of reach and way out of step with normal people. I mean, look at why they're doing redistricting. They're doing this push because the polling is bad. Well, if all these policies are so great, if this is what people voted for, if this is what America passionately asked for in November, why are you having to redistrict in the mid-year in a really sketchy way and arrest the people? You know, it's like, this doesn't make sense, right? It's a grab of power. And that's where I think that when I'm talking with independents and Republicans, because we got to have independents and Republicans. There's no way I can win this seat.
30 seconds.
Great. There's no way that a Democrat wins this seat, even if the Democrats solve it. We have to have independents and Republicans with us, and we should. It's a coalition of people that we're building together. And that's the fundamentals of it, is do you think that Donald Trump and the Republicans should have unlimited power or not? And we're getting people. I'm getting 3-time Trump voters writing me checks. I'm getting people who've never talked to a Democrat. These are Jeb Bush, kind of folks, and they're coming in and saying, hey, this moment is different, and we have to do something different, and you might be the guy to do it.
It sounds to me, and I'm just spitballing here, that kind of sounds like America.
Yeah.
It's odd.
It is.
It came out of nowhere. Hey, thanks for being here, man.
Thank you.
You're an interesting guy.
I appreciate the time.
I think people are going to watch this show and go, that's an interesting guy. As we get closer, you're welcome back.
I appreciate it.
Okay, we'll see you guys next week. Again, Congressman Dunn, when he leaves that seat, it's open, so you have a seat. We'll see you guys next week. Take care. Have a great week.